Hi, beautiful people. Happy Friday. I was tempted to sing beautiful people use Afro Sheen, but hello, happy Friday. It's good to see all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for those who are watching the replay. Shout out to y'all. Today is day 5 of the Black Girl Creative Week retreat or Black Girl Creative Retreat Week. So happy Friday, everybody. Hi, H&D Abroad. Ooh, intriguing title. Exploring what my creative looks like in community. Thank God it's Friday, fam. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Marissa. It's good to see you. Hello, hello. Hi, let's talk about it with Mara. Hello, good morning, good morning. Hi, Deshaun Burns. This whole discussion on creativity has been very eye opening and uplifting. That makes me happy. Wonderful. I hope that creativity is less intimidating to people. I hope that the idea of being creative and making things and, feels more accessible because it is. It's every day. Also, my windows are open. It sounds like fall. So if this noise is distracting, please let me know and I will close the windows. It's also supposed to rain today, so it's, kind of windy and breezy outside. But hello, just let me know. Yes, hello, hello. Hi, Darlene Stewart. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, so the title, Steal Like an Artist. So this actually came from a book that I read by Austin Kleon. I guess I should show it. There's a book called Steal Like an Artist. This is me struggle typing by Austin Kleon. And it's actually a really good read. It's a really quick read. It's fun. Let me share my screen. Share screen. Yes, there we go. Okay. Steal like an artist. Oh, Greta, no worries. So hold on. Greta says, "Hello, Alicia. Hello, all. I have to leave early today, so I'm wishing all a magical weekend early." Thank you so much, Greta. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I hope that your day is wonderful. I hope your weekend is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Okay, so Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon is a really, really good book. I suggest people read it. And the title by itself intrigued me. And so that's what I want to talk about. Talk about stealing like an artist. And then also like the kind of second title of this is like creating from gratitude, creating from a place of gratitude. Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So first of all, how are y'all doing? How's y'all Friday going? I hope it's going well. Mine is good. I went to Target this morning looking for a crown, looking for an autumn crown or something. And I was like, I should go to Michael's and make it. But I was like, I don't feel like it. So I bought something else. I'll show you all later when we talk about autumn. Yeah, then I went to Barnes and Noble, which is always fun. I felt I had a great time. I love walking through there, listening to things, looking at books as inspirations, being like, one day I'm gonna be here, and also buying books that I don't need. so, so I hope that your day, your week has been going great. I hope that your weekend is even better. Hi, Scotchy. Hello, everyone. First time catching this live at the beginning. Thank you for being here, Scotchy. It's good to see you. Okay. All right. So, steal like an artist. So when I first saw the title of that book, I was like, steal, right? But upon reading it, I'm like, okay, yes, yes. Like all of us steal like artists. So my creativity and giftings are unique gifts, right? Like I'm the only me there will ever be. I create the way that I create, that Alicia creates. However, my creativity has been influenced and impacted by people who came before me, my ancestors, my parents, my community, the music that I listen to, the stuff that I read, right? Like all of it. All of it has been impacted and influenced by other people. So just like that scripture that says like there's nothing new under the sun, or people say like everything that has been comes back around again, like we talked about yesterday. There's this idea that as creatives, we have to create everything from scratch, that everything has to be done from scratch. Or if it's not, it doesn't count, right? This idea of like, oh, I have to be super original. I have to, break the mold, and I have to, put my name on the map by being so brilliant and so different. And the thing is, like, we are brilliant, we are different, but we are all influenced and impacted by and inspired by our community. We're inspired by the things around us. We're inspired by nature, right? A lot of ideas that come from our minds and our hearts are really like seeds that have been planted by other people as well. So that's what we're going to talk about. And then also showing gratitude for those people by creating. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So, yes. Hi, St. Cloverton James Jones. Hello, hello. Hi. Okay. So like I said, my creativity and giftings are unique gifts, but they're influenced by and nourished by others. My music and my singing, as an example, right? God gave me my voice. My voice is inherently mine, but my voice is made up of the voices of ancestors who created me, whose DNA is in me, right? My voice, my tone, my ear, the style in which I sing, right? All of that has been impacted by who I'm around and what I've listened to. Everything. Like my grandmother, my aunts, my mom, right? Other mothers in my family. Church, I talked about that before on Marissa's channel. When she gave me the pleasure of being able to be a guest on her channel, we talked about that. Like, what are your inspirations, right? And one of my inspirations is the church. A cappella singing, like that singing, that call and response, that harmonizing, the stomp clapping, like the using the voice as the instrument, right? And then even if you have a piano, like the voice is still what is highlighted. The piano is keeping us on key. It's keeping us, and even that's beautiful. But like using the voice as an instrument is where I got my influence from singing. So yeah, so church, radio, other artists that I love and I listen to, the Motown artists. I love like soul music. I think even though I like every kind of genre of music, soul music I feel like is the most impactful. Gospel, soul, but again, everything comes from gospel anyway, so that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, yes, yes. So, Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, right? We're all inspired by other creators. All of us. All of us are inspired by other creators. We dream as far as we can see. And a lot of times we can't dream until someone shows us what is possible, which is beautiful and impactful, and it's generous because now we can dream beyond what we thought we could do because somebody else showed us the possibility of something different, right? So I follow a lot of women who talk about, leaving the country, who talk about, living life on their own terms, right? And they're showing us in real example, like they're creating a space where we can actually see something different than what we're used to, where we can actually dream farther than we dreamed before. You don't have to stay here. You don't have to stay in this country. You don't have to stay in this state. You don't have to live this way. You don't have to have this thing. And it's not until somebody shows us that we're like, oh, you're right. There are other options, right? Okay, so we dream as far as we can see, but someone opened another level of possibility for each of us, whether that be a teacher, a parent, right? We don't get here on our own. And I think that's why I push back so hard on, I'm self-made. No one is self-made. No one is self-made. And I think that sometimes we like to say, well, obviously, we've been programmed to think that we have to be self-made, that self-made is the only way to do it, right? But I also believe that this idea of being self-made is very prideful. It's very prideful and arrogant, and it's isolating, and it beefs up our ego, right? To say that I did this by myself with nobody else's help. I did this, but nobody gets along without anybody's help. Nobody. I don't care if you're living in the middle of nowhere. Nobody gets along without somebody else's help. And somebody else doesn't have to be like just a person, right? It could be nature. It could be animals. It could be trees. Like none of us are self-made. We're all interconnected. All of us are working together. So, even when I see certain technologies and vehicles and things like that, I'm like, oh, that was inspired by an animal. That was inspired by a bug, right? Like the Volkswagen Beetle. Where do you get the inspiration for this? From a beetle, from a bug, right? So all of us are inspired by something else. Okay. So yes, scarcity tells us not to acknowledge it, but it makes us better. Like scarcity tells us not to acknowledge the fact that we are inspired by other people because we don't want to give people credit. We don't want to be biters. We don't want to be copycats. And we'll get into that in a second. And so, yes, there is something to honoring the people who give you inspiration or who inspire you versus like actually being a thief without actually being a plagiarist, right? That's very different. And we're going to talk about the differences in a second. So yes. So we're all copycats. All of us are copycats. Even me, I'm a copycat as well. And it doesn't have to be something that we judge ourselves for or say like, oh, because this sounds like this artist or it's inspired by this artist or whatever, like we can't put it out anymore. No, you can pay homage to the people that inspire you and still create the thing that you want to create. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're using someone as inspiration or someone else's art as inspiration, right? You're not copying it. You're not just trying to, do the same exact thing. If you allow that thing to flow through you to actually be inspiration, you'll take it and you'll actually create something new from it. And that's where this is coming from. So this quote actually comes from Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was an artist, and one of Pablo Picasso's famous quotes is that all artists are thieves. Are thieves. First of all artists are thieves. So I'm going to share this with you all. He says, art is theft, right? And the quote is known of him saying, good artists borrow, great artists steal. And so obviously, no, he's not talking about copying exactly what someone has created. This is what he's talking about. Let me show you all this real quick. Share screen. I think this is the one. Yes. Okay. All right. So here you can see two different paintings, right? This is obviously painting the same thing. This is the reference on the left-hand side. And on the right, Picasso made his own version of this same portrait using his talents, using his vision, using, things that stand out to him. Right? And so the idea is that, right, we're taking something, like, let's go up because it says it. However, to steal or borrow others' ideas, you have to see them. And this means increasing your powers of observation. We talked about that, right? Like living, observing, all of it. As you can see in the following two examples from Picasso, stealing really means taking something as a starting point, then using your creativity to transform it and synthesize it into something new. So that's the whole point of stealing like an artist. You don't have to start from scratch. You don't. You can take a quote from somebody. I've done this before as a writing exercise. Let me stop the share. Oh, and bottom here also. The left image is an African mask viewed by Picasso in Paris. Stolen things. But anyway, the right image is this. I cannot pronounce this. In 1907 by Picasso. You see what I'm saying? So using someone else's art as inspiration or as a starting point. So a lot of people do this as writers, right? They take prompts, like I need to get this, creative engine going. I need a prompt to help me get started. That's the same thing as stealing like an artist. I have created music inspired by other artists. So there's a song that I'll be releasing at some point soon, and it's inspired by the bass line of what is it? Of Anita Baker's "Sweet Love." Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Right. So I took the bass line of that song and created something completely different. I went in a totally different direction. My harmonies were different than the actual song, right? But I was inspired by Anita and the musician, whoever the bassist is. I was inspired by the bass of that song, and I used that bass line to create something completely different. And at first I was like, well, is this still creativity? Is it still creative? And it's like, yes. And it's not stealing as in plagiarizing, because I will always reference that song. Like, this is where I got that inspiration from that song. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can actually play the song. Maybe we can do that. Let me see. How can I do this? We can do this. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to think of where I can play this from. But I'm going to play it for you at the end. But the bass line of the Anita Baker song was my starting point. And I did not, I can cover the song, but even like with covering songs, right? Like, you're still adding your own twist, your own voice to certain things. I can actually show y'all an example of that right away. So a few years ago, like I said, I got into this thing where I was like, I'm just going to do vocal covers of songs that I love. Because why not? Because why not? And my husband inspired me just to use my voice as the instrument. And so that's what I did. And so I created a few like EPs of me covering songs just using my voice. And even though I covered songs, I still made it my own. I still did my own thing. And I hope that the original artists would be pleased. Some of them are not, no longer living. But I hope that I still honored them and paid homage to them. I hope they felt that was paying homage to them, because they inspired me and my art and my voice and my music and the way that I hear and see things. So give me one sec. Let me see. I'm going to do Don't Worry, Baby by the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys. It's one of my favorite songs. Okay, so let me pull up this video real quick as an example. Okay, so I hope that you know the song when it's like, don't worry, baby, right? So let's see if the internet's gonna act right. Okay, here we go. So this was 5 years ago. Wow. This is me 5 years ago, covering Don't Worry, Baby. Let me actually see if you can actually hear it. Hold on one second. Stop sharing. Thank y'all. Present. Share. Okay, audio. It should be good. Okay. So here we go. So Don't Worry, Baby. We all know that song. It's a classic. And so I use my voice to create something different. Hopefully you can hear it. Okay. Here we go. Like, when is it going to start? Okay. Hold on one sec. I don't know if y'all can hear it because it says the internet's acting up. So maybe that's too much. But either way, I redid the song. I don't know if you could hear it. Um, okay, it's coming back. It's coming back. The internet is coming back. We're gonna try it. Let's just see. Let's just see what happens. Here we go. If it sucks, it sucks. But here we go. Well, it's been building up inside of me for I don't know how long. I don't know why, but I keep thinking something's bound to go wrong. She looks me in my eyes and makes me realize when she says, "Don't worry, baby, everything will turn out alright. Don't worry, baby, everything will turn out alright. Don't worry, baby. Oh, oh, oh. Don't worry, baby, everything will turn out alright. Don't worry, baby, everything will turn out alright. Don't worry, baby. Oh, oh. Okay. It's always awkward to hear myself singing. I was like, okay, all right. But yes, so Beach Boys, right? Love them. Their harmonies are inspiring. Their work is inspiring. And so I wanted to do my own version of it, and I did. And I really enjoyed it because I still feel like I made it mine. Because like if you listen to Beach Boys, like, you know, it's very kind of, even though it's like, it's beautiful, the way that they sing is very thin. And so I just wanted to do my own version, whatever that looked like. So it was fun. I made that. And I used other people's art as inspiration. So even though no, I didn't write the song, I didn't you know, create the melodies and all this other stuff, I added my own stuff to the song to make it mine. And that's the whole point. The entire point. And I feel like that's how we honor the people we are inspired by. It's not by plagiarism. It's not by just copying exactly what they do, right? Because that's not what we're doing. It's really taking them as inspiration and paying homage to them and respecting them, respecting their work and their craft by then being empowered to create our own art, even if we are inspired by their art. I really feel like that's a way that we can honor people who do us well, you know, who give us the courage, who give us the voice, who give us the words, right? Who help us to feel seen. I feel like the way that we do that is by paying it forward and keep creating, keep making things so that other people feel seen and heard and make it in your own way, if that makes sense. So, oh, thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Aw, thank you all. I appreciate that. I want to get back to creating more music like that. I had so much fun. I would just be locking myself up in a room and just singing. Because I had to do all the background vocals and all the layers and then adding the things that I wanted to add. And then I got to finally do the lead vocal. And so that usually took like hours. It took hours to do that. But I had a lot of fun the entire time. I'm just in flow. I would forget to eat. It was just so much fun. So I want to get back to doing stuff like that. So yay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. This is me bowing in gratitude. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Optimistic girl, hello. I need you to teach me your setup to create music. Sure, we could do that for sure. You probably need less. You probably need less than what you think you need. Yes, we can definitely talk about it. Oh, no worries, Greta. Oh, no worries, beautiful. Ooh, I could see this as a sitting meditation. Oh, yay, that makes me happy. Thank you. Ooh, that was a ooh, Child of 83. I love this description. That was a neo doo-wop soul. I love that. I love that. Yes. Yes, Brian Wilson, exactly. Brian Wilson. Shout out to Brian Wilson for writing, composing, putting all this music together. Like, whoa. Chica! It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Why don't you ask for help from me? Wait, what do you mean? What does this mean? Wait, want to sing with you. Can that be possible? I think so. We got to figure it out over the internets. But we can, I'm sure. I'm sure we can figure it out. Hi, Gorgeous One. It's good to see you. But yeah, so the idea is if you are inspired by someone, be inspired. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to start from scratch, right? None of us are starting from scratch. None of us. Even the people that we look up to, the artists that we think like, oh my gosh, like they're so unique. The reason why they're so unique is because they're doing something that we all have seen and done, but doing it their own way. And I feel like when we do that for ourselves, like the magic comes out, right? Like the thing that like, wow, that makes us stand out. But a lot of us are like putting aside ourselves, right? Like putting aside our magic, putting aside our difference, like the different things, because we don't think it's good enough. Or we don't think it's legitimate, right? It doesn't follow the rules that people set that we talked about yesterday. Like, what are rules? Who made them? Why? Who does it benefit, right? We don't have to follow them. And I think that when we allow ourselves to be inspired, to create from inspiration, you get magic, you get beauty, you get authenticity, even if it is inspired by other people. You know what I'm saying? So yes. Ooh, I love the sound of the wind blowing through the trees in the fall. It's so nice. And it's overcast today. It's a perfect day. Okay. So, so yes. So yes, we're all copycats and reflections of what we see and experience. All of us. We are all copycats. Even the way that we speak, we learn language from usually our parents or our teachers. The way that we walk, the way that we should carry ourselves, what is appropriate, what's not appropriate. We are all reflections of each other, right? Like, and we talked about that a little bit. Yes, 2 days ago. 2 days ago during the live, it's like, I think it was Marissa T, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But like this idea of like, we all are reflections of each other. And so because we're in this world together, we're not living, you know, on some planet, some distant planet far, far away. We are all inspired by something. Even the idea of music, right? Measure, time, what sounds good vocally. We add our own voices, but we follow certain rules or structures that were created by other people who were inspired by. So when I hear music like jazz or what is something else? Jazz or experimental music, right? It gives me permission to play and to do stuff for fun. Like, oh, I don't have to follow these rules. I can be a little off key. I can create, you know, chords that sound like they clash, but they work, right? It's me hearing that. It's me hearing those harmonies. It's me hearing my grandmother singing. It's me hearing my mother singing, my aunts. Like, that's what made up my voice. Okay, that's what made up my ear too, in the way that I create music and produce music. So let's pay homage to those things that make us us, right? And we thank them and we honor them. And in thanking and honoring them, we give credit where credit is due. And then we create the way that we want to create. We create in the way that feels good to us, that feels natural to us, because that is what we should be doing in the first place. Not the problem. Structure is great. Structure is good. It's fine. But I think what happens is that sometimes, again, we think that if we don't follow the structure or what we read or what we see, then somehow we're wrong, that we have to fix ourselves. When really it's like, no, you can use that inspiration. You don't have to be that artist. I don't have to be the Beach Boys. I don't have to be, who else have I covered? Lauryn Hill or Anita Baker. I don't have to be those people. I'm Alicia, but I'm just using their genius as a starting block, as inspiration, because we're all building on something. We're all building on something. Okay. Even the chords that we use. There are certain chords that are used in neo soul music. There are certain chords that are used in gospel music. There are certain progressions that are normal, right? We all know, like, even in church, even if you don't go to church or whatever, we all know what praise music sounds like, right? Like when people get high in the spirit and like dun 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 dun, dun that sound, that feeling, right? But there's so many songs with that in there. It follows a structure, but even the songs that do it, if it's done well, in my opinion, then it sounds a little different. It's still unique. That's my point. Okay. So yes, absolutely. Shellwell says the perspective is the elective to be selective for your connection. Hold up. The perspective is the elective to be selective for your connection. Shellwell, come through. Come through. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you, optimistic girl. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for your generosity. I really appreciate that. Yeah, if you ever want to become a vocal coach, I would gladly pay. I feel like I would have. I need to look this up because I feel like if you're working with a body, there needs to be some sort of like maybe these are made up rules. I don't know. Maybe I need to check myself. But I think that there is an art to helping people unlock their voice and like breathing, the diaphragm, the lungs, exercise, all that stuff, all that plays in part. So I wouldn't mind helping people, but I don't know if I don't know. Let me think about that. I do want to help people write songs. I do want to help people make songs. I do want to help people produce songs. Like and show them how to like set stuff up. My husband also does that too. Like he's very technical. I just do like the creativity stuff. He does the technical stuff. So like I wouldn't mind doing that, the creative work, but I feel like with the technical body things, I might not be. We'll see. Let me hold my tongue. But yes, thank you for that, St. Cloverton James Jones. I appreciate that. Oh wow, that's the same thing with me. I'm scared. Oh, tell me more. You're scared of what? I can relate. Creativity. Yeah, yeah. Yes, exactly. Child of 83. Structure is the skeleton, foundation, or the guide, but not the mold. I love that. Thank you. If that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And that's freeing. That's freeing. That's another thing I want to say. It is freeing to know that you don't have to be original. It is freeing to know that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It is freeing to know that you're allowed to start with someone else's starting block, using someone else as a starting block. Because if you're a good person, right, you're not going to just like take their things like we know. And I feel like, especially like with Black folks, and I'm speaking specifically about music, but I'm sure it applies to everything, right? We've seen the history of Black music, if you know, but like artists, being taken advantage of, their songs being played and then they get drowned out and they never get the credit that they're due. They never get the honor. Like Big Mama Thornton. Hold on one second. Sorry, you have to hear me type. Yep, Big Mama Thornton. You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. How Elvis Presley was made famous for that song, and that's Big Mama Thornton's song. You feel me? A woman who never got her just due, who never got credit. So we know what it feels like to be taken advantage of. We know what it looks like. Even in the industry now, we don't even have to go that far back. We see what that happening now. There are writers in the industry who never get credit for writing on songs. People take their ideas, or they'll do a demo for a song and somebody will take it at a label, and because they have more money and more lawyers, that person who did the demo or wrote the music never got credit. That happens all the time, sadly. And so because we are good people, we're not going to do that, right? We're not going to steal from people and not give credit to them. Like, that's not our heart. And I know that's not your heart. You don't want to just take stuff and steal from people in that way. You want to see people as inspiration. And so if you are giving honor to them and saying, hey, you inspired me to do this, or, for Anita Baker, I don't know if Anita Baker will ever see anything I create. I can only hope, right? That would be a dream come true. But I would be sure to be like, no, when I talk about that song, this song was actually inspired by Anita Baker's Sweet Love, the bass line in Sweet Love. Because Anita Baker has been such a prominent figure in my music, like Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So I would definitely give credit where credit is due. But I still made the song. You know what I'm saying? And also be careful, because there are some rules and things depending on what you're making that you can't use people's words in your song without giving them credit, right? And this is just for music, but I'm sure it goes the same way in any other art field. But I guess it's just the right thing to do, to give credit where credit is due. Okay, let me close this real quick. All right, so yes. So we're all made up of a collective, whether we know it or not. We are all made up of a collective, whether we know it or not. Let's see. Ooh. Yes, no one has time to work in the mold any longer. Yes, exactly. Break the mold. Seriously. You are the mold. I think that's the secret sauce. Like, people are trying to figure out, like, what is the secret sauce? What's the secret formula? It's you. It's you if you would just believe it's you. You know what I'm saying? It is you. You are the mold. You are the niche. You are the secret sauce. You are the magic. It's you. And things filtering through you, like we can all see the same thing. We can all hear the same song or see the same movie, and we take something different from that, from our own perspectives and our own upbringings, our own experiences, our own viewpoints. We are our own magic. We are the thing that makes art. It's us. It's you. Okay. So yes, absolutely. Hi, Cleona Divine. Hello, it's good to see you. All right. We don't need to steal. We don't need to steal literally, but be inspired and do things our own way. That's the message. Do whatever you want to do your own way. You can use something as inspiration and still make it your own way. I have seen people, like, for example, and I'm sure maybe you've seen this too, but people will see a tree and somebody has said, like, wow, the branches on a tree look like the lungs, like an upside down tree, like this. And this is like the sign. Like, I mean, it's kind of explaining what it looks like, but it's like the tree, turn it upside down and put one in each lung. That's what a lung looks like. I really feel like in nature, everything is reflecting itself, right? Like everything reflects itself in some way. Like when I look at like food, people will talk about that, like nuts, like walnuts, and how walnuts resemble a brain and it's good for the brain, right? Or how beets, right? The juice of beets represent like blood and how beets are good for the blood. I really do feel like nature reflects itself back to nature. And so if we are nature, if we are humans, we are nature. And so therefore we are always reflecting back something. We are always taking in something, but always reflecting back something. And we can take that something and make it into our version of what that something is. If I tell everybody to make a pound cake, everybody's going to make their own pound cake. Some might have icing, some might not. Some might have, what do people like, chocolate chips or whatever. Everybody's going to add their own secret sauce, and you are the secret sauce. That's the whole point. Okay. So, and this truth is freeing. This is my notes. The truth is freeing, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun. You're free to create whatever you want to create. You don't have to be original. The thing that makes your art original is you, because you are the original, not the thing you're doing. Even Audre Lorde talked about that. Like, there's nothing new. There's nothing new. It's just new people doing things new ways. There's nothing new, but there's new people doing things new ways. If we're all doing the same line dance, another example, I'll go to family cookouts and things like that, family gatherings, and we all do the same line dance. The, let's do the, whatever, the wobble, right? There's different versions of the wobble, but everybody adds their own little, their own little movement to it. Some people might speed it up a little bit, do the extra turn around and come back and turn back around, right? Some people might keep it with a cute little two-step, but they're all doing the same dance. It's all the same song, but everybody shows up differently. Even the awkward person who can't get on beat, right? Like the person who's like, okay, wait, let me watch and learn from you. At some point when they get the dance down, they're going to do it their own way. They're going to finesse it in their own way. You feel me? It's the same with the dance of life. This is all a big dance. So yes. Hi, Alicia. Hope you are good. Caught this one at a good time. It's good. I'm glad that you're here at this time. And yes, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you. So there's nothing new under the sun. The only unique thing is you. Your personal style, your take, your flair, your perspective, your passion, your talent and abilities make it special. You make it special. Hi, come along with CC Adventures. Hello. Hi. And even in the space of like, again, Exodus Summit is coming up. So like I've been seeing a lot of stuff and a lot of people doing amazing things, but talking about, there are a lot of people I follow who talk about the same thing, right? Leaving the country or finding happiness in their own lives. And they're all talking about the same stuff, but they're all saying it in a different way. They're all saying the same things in different ways. And I listen to each and every one of them because I need the differences. It's not just about the information. It's not just about the meat of it, right? And that also is good for you to know that even if you're doing something that somebody else is doing, still do it. Still do it, because we need to see you do it. We need to see it done like you. We need to hear your perspective, your outlook, right? Your take. Because again, all of it adds up to like fitting together like a puzzle. It's one picture, right? We're talking about the same thing, but each person is playing their part in the puzzle coming together. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a freeing thing to know that all you have to do is play your part. Okay. The only unique thing is you. Yes. So we often discount our ideas. If someone else is already doing them, I just said that. If someone else is already doing that, keep going. You're the unique thing. And that makes it special. And it's still worthy. It's still a worthy thing to do. We spend unnecessary energy trying to be brand new, super unique. Like we'll go back to the drawing board. Like, dang, I need this to be like super unique and like something no one has ever heard of. Don't do that. It's exhausting. There's no point. And you will come up with those ideas later on. You know what I mean? If you're creating stuff, if you're being prolific, you're going to come up with stuff, even if it's the same thing done your own way. And that's what's going to be different. You're the unique thing. So also had other notes. It's going to be a quick one today, guys. And I like that. I love that. Okay. So how do we create from gratitude, right? From gratitude, honoring the people that we're inspired by. We show our gratitude for the gifts, the people, the art, the influence, and inspiration by using the gifts that we've been given. It's like the inspiration that we get from other people. It's like they're handing us a gift. This chapstick is the gift, right? This chapstick is the gift. And I admire the gift. I appreciate it. But instead of using it to put on my lips or whatever, I just keep it in a corner and figure out like, dang, how am I going to not chat my lips? How am I going to moisturize my lips? I got to create something that no one has ever seen before. It's like, no, you could just make your own chapstick, right? As an example, because you can see it. Just make your own chapstick, your own flavor. Maybe you use all natural ingredients. Maybe what's special about it is that on every balm, there is like a new message on it. I don't know. Or something positive. Maybe it turns colors when you put it on your lips, whatever, right? Like maybe the proceeds go to a specific foundation or a specific purpose. Maybe that's what makes it special. Think of all the different kinds of shoes there are. There are so many different kinds of shoes. Like there's so many shoes. And yet and still people have a preference for what shoes they want to wear. What color shoes they want to wear. Like the type of shoe. There's something like, anyway. So yeah, so you've been given a gift, the inspiration from other people, right? And instead of sitting on it and just like, okay, I'm going to hoard it. How about you use it to actually do what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, wow, this is interesting packaging. Maybe I would do something different, with this. Maybe I'll try to add plastic instead of paper. I get paper because, I'm trying to be eco-friendly, trying. But that's one of the reasons why I bought it. You see what I'm saying? So how do we honor the gifts and the people that come before us? We use the gifts that we've been given and pay it forward. Honor your ancestors well by using what they've given you. Your life, your voice, ideas, wisdom. And of course, this is ideal if you come from an ideal family. But even if it's not your family, it's other people. It's other artists. It's other people that you've read about, that you've seen on YouTube, that you listen to podcasts about, right? Like we're all inspired by other people. Show your gratitude for things we love by carrying those things on. So not stopping that experience with you, but allowing that experience to continue, allowing that legacy to live on. So just like with the Beach Boys song, first of all, they're legit. So I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure their audience space is fine. But just imagine like if nobody heard of them and like I'm just like, oh, I love this song and I have the ability to sing, but I'm like, I want to sing the song, but I don't want to. Like maybe me sharing that song is leading more people to the Beach Boys. Like, oh wow, I never knew they sang that song. You just never know. You never know. Or maybe that song is inspiring them to create their own cover song, their own version of that song. And so now we both get to experience the joy of creating something different out of something that has already been, right? We both get the joy of that. So show our gratitude for the things that we love by carrying those things on. Family dinners, right? I think about family dinners and how a lot of my family is getting older and, it's like the legacies that we want to carry on, the traditions that we want to carry on. Somebody has to take up the mantle. Somebody has to do it, right? If we want to keep doing it, or we can change it. Maybe it don't have to rest on one person. Maybe we can change it, right? Maybe we can rent someplace at an Airbnb and everybody brings a dish. Boom. So nobody has to worry about cleaning up their house. Nobody got to worry about cooking all day for everybody. Like the work is not just on one person. Maybe we can bring paper plates. I know. People are like, oh no, paper plates during Thanksgiving. Why not? You still gonna eat the food. But anyway, like maybe we can do paper plates so people don't have to wash dishes. They can actually relax and be there. Right? So that's an example that I thought of. Or music. We see it all the time. People are using samples from other songs to create new songs. It's the same thing. Stealing like an artist. It's the same thing. We keep the gifts circulating when we do that. When we steal like an artist, we keep the gifts in circulation. We don't hoard. We create abundance, right? And that's how you create abundance for real. Like that's how you truly are abundant. Yes. So take that inspiration, give thanks, and pay homage. Literally give thanks. If you know somebody who has inspired you, say thank you. Write them a thank you note. Thank you so much. Or an email or an inbox, whatever that looks like for you. Say thank you. When you create something that's inspired by other people, say thank you. Mention them. You know what I'm saying? It could be that simple. Just mention them and be like, yeah, Stephanie Perry talks about this a lot. Like when you're creating a video, like if you're using someone else's video as a reference, yeah, I really enjoyed this video from this person, or you didn't, or whatever. Like I enjoyed this video from this person, and these are my thoughts on the same issue. Paying homage, right? It's easy. And that's what creates abundance. Use them as permission to do your own things. When you see someone doing something that you want to do, or you're inspired by something of the past, use them as permission, as a permission slip to do the things. And then you'll also give the gift of inspiration and freedom to others. You become the inspiration. You become the inspiration. You become the example of freedom and permission. And so the whole point, right, is to be a beneficial vessel, a conduit. Keep creating, keep making, keep sharing, right? Because like I said, it all matters, right? And everything that we create is really founded and based on other people. And we keep their legacy alive. We pay homage to them. We honor our ancestors by creating. It's that big a deal. It's that big a deal. So yes, yes. Hello, California. Hello from Maryland on the exact opposite side. Hello. Hello. Oh, I'm glad. Deanna, hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, Enough by MNT. It's good to see you. St. Cloverton James Jones says, look at Alicia planning our meetup already. I'll bring some Jamaican patties. Ooh, that sounds beautiful. Listen, I'm going to eat, okay? One thing I'm going to do is eat. But yes. Chica, yeah, you're welcome. Just be a beneficial conduit, a beneficial vessel. That's pretty much the message. That's the idea, is be inspired and use that inspiration as fuel to create. And this is something I've said before. What I've realized I need to do is when I am inspired, I need to take action. Take inspired action, right? Like, take inspired action. When you feel that fire in your belly to make something or to create something or to do something or to say something or to change something, trust it, believe it, use it as fuel. What happens to me is sometimes I'll be inspired by something and I'll sit on it for a second. I'll be like, I'll do that later. And then I don't have the fuel for it anymore. I don't have the fire, the passion, or I'm just too tired. Or I have too many ideas, like I showed y'all on my phone. You know what I mean? Like, just go and do it. Just do it. You don't need permission. Just give thanks, right? Give honor and go and create. And even this idea of doing the same thing that somebody else is doing, nobody can do it like you. It's not a competition. And even though there are people who do steal ideas, I do recognize that. What I try to sit with, even though it's wrong, so don't be, if you're angry, be angry about that, because that's a violation. That's theft. But I think what I rest in is that nobody, even if somebody steals something from me, it's really, sometimes they're just trying to find themselves, right? Like sometimes it's not personal. Sometimes it's not like, oh, I'm going to bury you or whatever. And even though it's still wrong, I understand that some people are just trying to find themselves. And in the beginning of our creativity journey, aren't we all doing that? We're all, even if we're learning how to draw, right? Usually we're learning from somebody else. Let me draw this thing like this person until we find our own footing, until we figure out what is my own voice. What do I want to create? When I was younger and I was singing songs, I didn't know anything about covering songs. I just sang along with the radio. That's it. I just sang along with the radio in the bathroom, in the car, in my room. Then I started writing my own music. I started writing my own music using the music of other artists. So I don't know if y'all had a Casio machine, a Casio piano, and they would have like a bank of songs on there and you would press play. And the idea is you're supposed to play along with the songs, right? But what I did instead was I listened to the songs playing and I wrote my own lyrics. I didn't come up with the music by myself, but I wrote my own lyrics, right? And then even my lyrics were inspired by other lyrics that I've listened to, other poets that I've read. So I would write my own music to the melody on the Casio piano. And then eventually I learned chords by myself because I couldn't play. I couldn't play. Then I started learning chords. Like, oh, this is a C chord. This is a D chord. This is the C note. I don't even know what chord this is, but this sounds good to me. And then I went from there, right? So everybody starting off does copy off of somebody until we're brave, not even brave enough, until we become sure enough that our voice deserves to be heard too. We all do it. We all do. We're all copycats. We're all thieves. But the idea is to move from being from that place of like apprenticeship from that person. That's what I liken it to. Like, oh, an apprenticeship. Like, let me do this. And then you realize like, oh, I'm my own person. So let me do it my own way. Let me see what happens if I try this and I do, this person does that. Let me try this, right? Another way that you can use inspiration is figuring out what you don't like. Criticism is a great time to actually create. What happens is a lot of people have criticisms, but never offer any creative solutions. That bothers me. There are a lot of people who will sit on the sidelines and criticize you all day long and won't do nothing about it. Criticism is a great tool to use. If you hear a song and you're like, I wish they would have done this in that song. Dang, write the song. Here's an opportunity for you to create. I wish they said this in that video. Make the video. I wish, and it's not even criticism like, oh, I hate them. They're not good, blah, blah, blah. It's just whatever, like, dang, I wish they would have said that. You know what needs to be said. So say it, right? Say it. Yes, say it. Okay. So criticism is a great tool to use to create something, but also admiration. It doesn't have to be criticism. It doesn't have to be negative. It can be, I admire this person. Let me do the thing my way. Okay. So the journal prompt for today, let's give thanks Let's give thanks for all the artists, people, experiences that made us us. Seriously, take out a piece of paper and write down, like, who do I need to thank? Even if they're no longer living, who are the people that inspire you? Who are the people that allow you to see something different than you could have seen before, right? Who are those people? Say thanks. Whisper a thanks, even if they're no longer living. Thank you. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Annie Marty. Thank you, Annie Jackie. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Dad. Because he sings too. You know, like, seriously, whispering thanks. Whispering thanks to all the ancestors I never met. Thank you. Thank you so much for getting me here. And of course, like, artists that you enjoy. So say thank you. You are because they are. You are because they are. Who are the people, experiences who make you you? Make a list and give thanks. Be as specific as possible. You know? Creative prompt. This is the creative prompt for today. Write a thank you note to a person, place, thing, or experience on that list. Just choose one. And you don't have to send it to them. You know what I mean? Anita probably will never read my mail, and that's okay. But still whisper a thanks. Like, whisper a thanks. Write a thank you note. And if you feel inspired, you can send it to them. No pressure, though. Bonus. Use your respective mediums to say thank you, to express that thanks. So if you're a singer, sing thank you. If you're, or sing a song that you're grateful for that changed your life. If you're a writer, you know what I mean? Write thank you in your own way. It could be thank you, or it could be like something inspired by their work that inspired you. If you are a photographer, maybe you take a picture of, an art piece that you really enjoy, or take pictures of something that makes you happy. That you're grateful for. I'm grateful for the trees, so let me take a picture of the trees. It could be that simple. But just make sure that you're honestly creating from a place of gratitude, a place of permission for yourself to be like, I'm allowed to create what I want to create, and I can use other people as inspiration, right? But again, also creating from a place of gratitude in which we continue that legacy, their legacy, the impact that they have on us. Let us impact other people as well. Let us allow their legacy to live on, whether we're always whispering their names every day or whether we're just creating. I think the greatest honor you can give your ancestors who are no longer with us is to live. And I've been thinking about that a lot, again, with a lot of deaths and stuff like that I've experienced in my family. And I'm just kind of like, what is the best way I can honor them? Is to live, is to keep creating. My grandmommy, before she passed, she really loved when I sang Love by Nat King Cole. And I have been trying to get myself together to sing that song because I want to cover it in honor of her, but I'm crying now. I can't seem to get it together. And she loved when I sang that song. And so for me, the best way I can honor her is to keep singing. And at some point I'll sing Nat King Cole's Love. But she loved that song, Albert, don't be, everybody's here. They're saying hello, but yes. So I'm trying to figure out a way to honor her with that song. But also just keep singing. The way that I can honor my grandmother, the grandmother that I talked about on Marissa's channel, who taught me like the bass notes, right? Like she was a tenor when I was born. I don't know what she's saying earlier in life, but as a tenor in church, we would sing these hymns, and she would sing like the under thing, like the under, like, okay, so the song, Yes, God is real. Yes, God is real. He's real in my soul. Yes, God is real, for he has washed and made me whole, right? So the congregation will sing, yes, God is real. Grandma goes, yes, God is real. He's real in my soul. Real in my soul. Yes, God is real, for he has washed and made me whole. My grandmother will sing, washed and made me whole. His love for me is like pure gold, is like pure gold. Yes, God is real, for I can feel him in my soul, him in my soul. My grandmother taught me that. And so for me, when I'm singing, I always implement something. Like that's why I love my loop machine, because I can add different parts and different harmonies and call and response, and the words and the notes play with each other. Like my grandmother played when she sang. My grandmother played. And so to honor her, I will keep singing. You know what I was like? To honor her, I will keep singing. Yeah. I feel very, very feely today. Very feely talking about that. But yes. And FIMNT says, I love this prompt. Thank you. I have so many creative mentors that have no clue their impact on my creativity, and it would be lovely to acknowledge them. Yes. And you can acknowledge them in any way, right? Like how, for me, it's covering their songs, using their songs as inspiration. You know what I mean? Oh, Poppy Kumo, thank you. I love that name, by the way. Thank you for becoming a member and for your support. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. But yes, like, you know, even if it's just for yourself, have you thought about the people that have made you you or that have inspired you to be you? You know? And I need to do that exercise too. And I'm going to make a video about it because there's so many people that I need to thank. Thank you. Child of 83 says, social media has made it easy for people to be critics, but not give solutions. Everybody's a critic. And like, isn't that like a phrase? Everybody's a critic. Everybody has something to say. We talked about Brene Brown and this example of being in the center ring. And actually the song that I wrote Right Here. I wrote a song called Right Here. And essentially the song was inspired by that idea of like everybody having something to say who's not doing nothing. It's so easy for people to criticize when they're not doing something, when their lives are not at stake, when they're not being brave. Everybody's a critic. But when you're creating and making stuff, it's very humbling when you're sharing your heart and you realize that everyone that you have criticized before is actually sharing their heart too. And so I respect that. I respect your bravery. As long as it's not harmful. As long as it's not harmful, I respect your bravery. And I respect you because Jeff Goins, or is that somebody else? No. Somebody else. Let me look up his name. But he basically has a rule with his kids. Anybody who tries, we applaud. We applaud anybody who tries. And I've adopted that. And I realized like that's how I've always felt. Like at open mic nights, I get secondhand anxiety for people performing because I want them to do well because I'm so proud of them for getting up there to do it in the first place. I put myself in their shoes because I want them to do well because I know how much it takes to be able to share a poem or to sing a song. It's scary. It's scary. And everybody on social media, first of all, social media, I need to take a break from it because it has become, I go on there for happy things and for healing things. And I'm just like assaulted every time I go on there. Like I just can't deal. And again, stay out the comment section, right? But people can criticize stuff from afar, but being in it is something completely different. We'll say all day, I would never. You don't know what you would do. Please stop saying that. I would never. You would hope that you would never, right? But you don't know what you would do. There are some things I'm just like, no, it's a hard no. I would never. But a lot of stuff, it's like, even the art that I don't even like, and I'm just gonna be honest, like a lot of the music today, I don't like it, but I'd be quiet about it because I know it's still brave to create something. I don't have to like it to support them, to be like, yeah, great job. You know what I mean? So yes, social media gives people the false reality that their opinion is asked for. It gives people the opportunity to share harmful things that no one really asked you for. And you're just like being like, and people also use social media to assault people and to harm people. It's weird. Like there's no compassion, none. So yes, I agree. All that to say, I agree. Sin Cloverton James Jones says, oh, I love that song. For me, it's As by Stevie Wonder. Yes, was my grandma's favorite. Oh, and I try not to cry when I hear it. It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song. The song itself makes you come to tears, right? But it's a beautiful song. I love that. Yes. Oh, you're welcome, Albert. I love As by Stevie Wonder. It's amazing, soul-filling song. It is. It's beautiful. The layers, the voices, it's amazing. That part, yes. No need to downplay something that isn't for you. Exactly. Because they get to exist. They get to create their art. Do I find some things problematic? Absolutely. But if they want to create the art that they want to create, who am I to say you can't do it? Who am I to say it? You know, and specifically about like a lot of rap. I don't like a lot of rap. I like hip hop, but a lot of the rap songs today, I'm kind of like, it's just a bunch of violence and SA culture and death. And I'm just not here for it. I'm just not. However, people are allowed, what I will respect is people who are really telling their stories. You get to tell your story, even if it is violent. Even if it is filled with crime and all this, because there's a story there. There's truth there. What I don't like is people perpetuating something that they don't live. I don't like that. Because that you're a liar. You're a liar, right? You're cosplaying as somebody that you're not. So I have more respect for people who rap about their experiences or stories, things like that, as opposed to people who are glorifying a life that they never lived. That's harmful to me. It's also insulting. And it's also being a culture vulture. Very much. Like, you have no idea what these people go through, what their experience is, but you think it's cool, so you're putting on cool so that you can make money. You feel me? While people really are suffering and struggling. I don't like that. So yes. Everything deserves to exist. But that is stealing in the way that we shouldn't be stealing. I hope that's making sense. Like there's a difference. There's a difference. Like even City Girls, they had a song. I listened to their album. I forget which album it was. It must have been their most recent one, maybe. But either way, I was listening to City Girls song, and they had one song on that album where both of them are talking about their upbringing. So everybody talks about, oh, these girls want to be city girls, blah, 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 blah. Like, just dragging the girls because you want a reason to drag the girls. Anyway, but they talked about in that song, but I'm like, y'all don't really care about them because if you listen to their songs, they're telling you why they live that life they live. They'll talk about how their fathers left them with nothing, how they struggled financially, and how, they had to start scamming people to make money. Right? Like, and so we talk down on people without actually listening to them, listening to their story. We're so quick to judge people, and you don't even really care. You just want to feel self-righteous. You know what I'm saying? I can't get with that. That bothers me. Hi, Lioness Crystal. Thank you so much for the love on Facebook. Thank you. But yes, I don't like that. I hate that. I hate that. This person is telling you their story. So City Girls have my respect, period. Because they're women, period. Because they're people, period. Right? But also because they're brave enough to tell their story. And brave enough to own themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway. That's complicated. It's intense. It's complicated. It's complex. But that's just my stance on it for now. I learned a lot of my critiques of others in the past were masking my awe that they tried. This is brave. This is brave. Thank you so much for admitting this. Thank you so much for this. And I'm sure I've done the same. Whole time, I'm mad because I want to give myself that experience. I want to give myself the experience to be brave. And I'm like poo-pooing them. Like, they're not so big. They're not so strong. They're not so talented. And it's like, yes, they are. And so are you. Like, so are you. Just step into that. Be brave like them, or be brave like you, I should say. Be brave like you. But yes. Cleano Divine says, it's simply just not your vibe. Yeah. But it still means something to someone else. Exactly. As long as it isn't intentionally harmful. Exactly. Agreed. Some things are problematic, but we still got to understand not everyone is vibrating at the same level. As we grow, we develop our art. Exactly. And it's like, who's to say that gangster rap is not art, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that could be their cup of tea, like you said, and it's just not mine. I don't like it. It makes me sad. It makes me sad. But to be fair, like, these are people's real realities. Like, people, I try to measure what I say about people. Like, there are some things that are just blatantly evil, and I'll call it out when it happens. But we have to look at the whole person, right? Their whole experiences, their background, all that stuff. And what we do is we like to dehumanize people. We like to make things so black and white, which is why I'm hardly ever black and white on anything, on much anything. Well, I won't say that. I'm black and white about some stuff. But some of the stuff I'm just like, no, there's a lot behind that. And y'all are just not willing to do the work to learn about it. You want to run the mouth, but not actually think. You know what I mean? So, but yes, I agree with you. And a lot of kids, listen to me. A lot of the young folks are creating this music because they see that's what gets people famous. They see that as like a reward. They see that as, like, oh, this is what's being praised. This is what's making money. So let me do this. Let me be this. They're reflecting what they've seen. They're using other people as inspiration. Albeit sometimes harmful. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same thing. But yes. A villainous crone, hello. That's how I feel about Sexy Red. She's from my hometown and talked about the sexual violence she experienced. While I don't listen to her music, I respect her telling her story so boldly. Yeah. I don't think I've heard much about Sexy Red. I feel like I see her in memes and like commentary than I've seen her. And every time I see it, it's always some trash. So I scroll because I'm not for trashing black women. I just can't. I can't stomach no more. So when I see it, I'm just like, scroll, because it's gonna make me mad. But yes. And that's, how brave it is to tell your story of sexual violence? That's scary. First of all, women don't get believed anyway, right? As a survivor, I know. Like, women don't get believed. Women are, like, did that really happen? And then they'll defend men most times, 10 times out of 10. They'll defend the men like, oh, well, what was she wearing? What did you do? Why were you alone with this person, right? Like, you're already coming up against that culture. And then to be such a public figure and do that's scary. And for black women, it's even worse because we don't get believed for anything. You know what I mean? So yeah. Exactly. It's their authentic experience. Exactly. Exactly. Down to Earth says, sometimes it's not about doing the work, it's about boundaries. Ooh, tell me more. I'd love to hear more about that. But yes, that is the talk for today, y'all. But I'd love to hear more about that, Down to Earth. So please expound if you can. Sometimes it's not about doing the work, it's about boundaries. You mean the person listening to the music? Because I agree. I agree. Child of 83 says Missy Elliott made a lot of sexual songs, but she did it in an artistic way. Yeah. People like Sexy Red need more creative guidance. I mean, I have thoughts. I have thoughts. I don't like comparing artists. I think every artist has the right to create whatever art they want to create, and we don't have to like it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to like it. I do wish, and I'm gonna share this because this is my own personal. This is an Alicia take, right? So I'm gonna take your name off of here. Also, if you would like to join the Gordon, if you want to join the Garden, we start this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna talk about how to be brave and brave enough to do the things you want to do or to stop doing the things you want to do. Here's a link to join, I think. Yes. Here's a link to join if you want to join. I would love to see you there. Can I just share? I'm going to share this. Sorry, I was meant to take your name off. So I saw all the uproar about, what was it, at Essence Fest with Janelle Monáe and like Meg the Stallion and some other people. I think like India Arie made a comment and people were like dragging her for it. No, for real. Yes, you are right. There's a place there's a place for everything, I guess. Yeah, because I think that music sometimes is allowed to just be listened to enjoy. First of all, to compare the music of today to the music of the past is harmful because it was still trash back then too. Like, it was still trash back then too. I think about as soon as you hear the strings, dun dun dun, Cash Money Records taking over for the 9 in the 2000s. Immediately, hands on knees, right? Hands on knees immediately, running to the dance floor immediately, right? And so no one's thinking about that. No one's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a classic at this point. I mean, some people are, but you know what I'm trying to say. And so I think if the people want to have fun, let them have fun. We don't have to agree with it for them to have fun. We all have those problematic songs that we're like, probably shouldn't be listening to this, probably shouldn't be supporting this message. You know what I mean? But anyway, I have thoughts. Okay, so that whole talk about India Arie and all that other stuff. Wait, I'm sorry. Oh yes, there's a time and place. And there's a time and a place to be ratchet within reason. Fair. That's fair. There was we gotta talk about that. Listen, go-go is definitely hands on knees, okay? For me, it's jumping around. I do a lot of this when I'm dancing. A lot of feeling the music. Because I cannot beat my feet to save my life. So sorry. So if you're not from the DMV area, go-go. Maybe I can show like an image of people beating their feet. So with go-go music, people beat their feet, right? And so there's a whole group here called like the Beat Your Feet Kings. So let me actually beat your feet. We're going left, but here we are. So I'm not going to play the music because copyright. But there's like legit like dance moves. Yes, put your one leg up and put your booty on the floor. Exactly. On the floor. That's another go-go song, y'all. So let me share this. We're here now, y'all. Share. Yes, here we go. Okay. Here we go. So beating your feet, right? It's an art form. Yay, the original Beat Your Feet Kings, I think. Crazy Legs and Beat Your Feet Finest DC Workshop with the babies. Okay, so this is beating your feet. Okay. Well, this is one way to beat your feet. Let's see, fast forward. So yeah, people doing all this. I can't do that, okay? I cannot do none of this. None of this. And if I could recommend a go-go song for you, I keep forgetting. We're not in love anymore. So it's a song originally by Michael McDonald, and they did a go-go version of it, a go-go cover. It's amazing. But I guess if you like go-go, it's gonna be. But this is beating your feet. That's the whole point. Anyway, the point is I can't do that, so I'm just like jumping around like this a lot, like that a lot, or bobbing my head. Yes. I'm glad you made it, Elle. Hello. Different artists resonate with different people, exactly, in different stages of their lives. I'm so grateful there are so many diverse artists these days. Exactly, exactly. There's something for everybody. And I'm happy that these platforms exist, like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all social media, because we're able to find them. The artists that aren't necessarily on the market, so to speak, like the artists that aren't on the radio or at the movie theater or wherever we're consuming art, you know, or in the galleries. We're able to find artists in real time creating all types of art. So yes. Yes, what was I saying? Yes, okay. So I'm kind of in the middle on this conversation about, like, especially like with Black women in the music, because men have been making music like this all the time and nobody has an issue with it. It's fine. But when Black women do it, it's a problem. When they finally have autonomy. So y'all been talking about pimping out women. Y'all been talking about screwing them over, all this other stuff. And so when a woman does it, it's a problem. That's very interesting to me. Another thing is that I also understand how harmful. I did a video about, oh my gosh, what is her name? Baby Tate, young Baby Tate, because she was at a concert one time and people were making fun of like her belly because it wasn't like flat. The abs weren't super flat. And so people were like, oh, you need to get a BBL and you need not to show your body because your belly's hanging over your waist. Meanwhile, most of our bellies are hanging over our waist, but that's another conversation. So the idea that women are consumable products is an issue for me. And so because I understand the music industry specifically, this is what I'm talking about. The music industry is run by men. And when we're talking about sexual liberation, that's another conversation, because it's like, are we really sexually liberated if the only people who can be platformed and seen and celebrated have to show up a certain way? Like, yes, I'm for the girls. I'm for the Meg Thee Stallions. I'm for the Cardi B's. I'm for them. But I'm also for the girls like Tierra Whack and the girls like Chica and like all these other girls who don't necessarily fit the mold or who don't brand themselves that way. And if we can only get ahead by showing up in a certain way, then we're not free. We're not free. It's not liberation. You see what I'm saying? Like, I should be able to show up in whatever I'm wearing and be taken seriously and not be harmed and not be mishandled, right? Like, so it's both for me. It's like the girls should be free to do what they want to do, but until everybody's free, we not free. It's not liberation to me. That's my own personal opinion. So we can shout liberation, sexual liberation all we want to. It's not sexually liberating if you're only being platformed for how beautiful you are through the male gaze. We're still using the male gaze as the standard, right? Like, not saying that women are not sexy. Women are gorgeous. Women are sexy. Okay, we know that. Women know that, right? But it's the idea of being consumed. That's the issue. Like, she's only allowed to be sexual for him to be owned, whoever he is, the male consumer, right? And so, like, it's really hurting the girls coming up in the music industry because now they have to keep playing this game. I really think Black women should start their own label, their own thing, where Black women are actually protected. When Nicki Minaj did that interview with Joe Budden, I didn't watch the whole thing because I can't stand Joe Budden. But when she did that interview with Joe Budden, she talked about getting surgery. Like, she was talking about getting surgery on, like, you know, plastic surgery. And for a long time, she was denying it. But she, you know, and also there's no shame, but she was talking about getting the surgery done. And she said that if she could go back, she wouldn't do it. Right. And so I'm just like, so why don't we create our own lane where girls don't have to risk their lives, literally risk their lives to be seen as beautiful, to be taken seriously? Why is it that a man could be on stage wearing whatever he wants to wear, doing the bare minimum? And when I say bare minimum, I mean bare minimum, right? He could be doing the bare minimum and get praise and accolades and adoration and respect. But unless a woman is up there half dressed, shaking things that people think should be shaken, right? Like, talking about men specifically. Like, then unless she's doing that, then she's not taken seriously. She's lazy. I remember, I will never forget how people treated Rihanna during the Super Bowl. I have a lot of thoughts, y'all. I have not been sharing them publicly. But they were like, oh, she's being lazy. She's giving us the least amount. And she should be able to. And so what? And she's pregnant. Even if she wasn't pregnant. Like, why are we only seeing women as products? She should be able to sit on that stage on a stool and sing her songs. And we still give her money. Because why? We still listen to it. We still dance to it. We still like it. The standard is always up here for women and always, like, below the screen for men in the music industry. And I would say a lot of other places, a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just not liberating to me. You know, I might dance to some music, I might, you know, go to a concert or whatever, but I know the truth. Like, no, the people, and it's not to say that these people who are playing the game, because that's what they're doing, they're playing the game because that's how you win, right? But in my mind, it's like, yes, you're playing the game, but at what cost? When you're playing that game, when you keep playing that game, you're also putting other women in danger. You're also making it hard for other women coming up. So is that really liberating? If you're putting chains and shackles on somebody else, is that liberation for real? You know, it's a complicated conversation. It's nuanced. It's heavy. You know. But yes. Yeah. Let's see. St. Cloverton James Jones. I can't dance either, but I do when I'm alone. Listen, just because, listen, if you dance, you dance, right? You dance. I just can't do that. That's a lot of coordination. Okay, I can do my little two-step. I'll be on beat, but I might be jumping around. Might be doing a lot of this, a lot of, you know, hairography if I had hair, a lot of this. But yeah, it's all good. Right. As a curvy model, I happily flaunt my curves and rolls. And I love that. And you should. Yes. Child of 83 says, yes, they only push one narrative of women right now in the mainstream, in the mainstream hip hop. Yeah, I agree. And it's harmful. And I hate that. Sexual liberation has been co-opted by white men. It's sick and sending women and young girls astray. I agree. I mean, we want to, and that's why I don't like, okay, I'm going to share my own. I'm just going to say what I want to say. This is me. You can cancel me. It's fine. I get bothered when people talk about, like, oh, this is all beneficial. It's all good. Because it's not. A lot of it is not good. I'm sorry. A lot of it is not good. I'm here for the confidence. I'm here for the beauty because women are gorgeous. I keep saying that. Ain't nothing like women, okay? Women are gorgeous. They're fine. They're talented. They're smart. They're brilliant. And so for me, on the one hand, I'm like, yes, please, more, right? But on the other hand, I'm also like, are you doing this because you want to do this? Or are you doing this because you feel like you have to do this? There's a difference, right? And I think for me, knowing where the person comes from makes me feel more confident and like, okay, good, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but also like, you don't have to do this. That's what I really want. You don't have to do this if you don't want to do this. And we don't hear enough about the women in the industry who get blackballed or who are silenced and never seen again because they denied, you know, being involved with certain men. You have Irv Gotti still talking about Ashanti, and it's 2023 because he feels entitled to her body, entitled to her work of music. Like, it's wild. A lot of men in this industry are predators, and it's not safe. It's not safe. It's not kind. You know what I mean? So yes. And I feel like because women are talented, they want to be taken seriously, they have to do all this stuff. And now I have to play this game and appease these men to give me access to this. And usually it's slimy, it's sleazy, and it makes people compromise who they are, what they believe, what they value, like for some attention, for the right. Like, because they're talented. Let's not take away from the fact that they are talented, but they have to do all this auditioning and jumping through hoops that men don't have to do. They don't got to do that. Like, I can't. Yeah. Yes, that is really cool. That's really cool. I would be here for your record label. I would love that, actually. I don't even know where to start, but maybe like, honestly, okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Marissa. Because I wrote down in my journal, like, I would love to have like a musical cohort of some kind where, so my vision for this would be like, I would love to help Black women create their music, right? For Black Girls Make Music, right? So that was a podcast. And then I wanted to have events and like, but I'm like, how can I serve them? So I want to start with like songwriting workshops. That's what I want to start. That's probably where I will start. But I also thought about like, what about like an artist development thing? And I don't mean development and like how to be what the market says you have to be, but like, no, let's develop your gifts and your talents, how you are, like what works for you. You feel me? I would love that. Because the girls got to get free. The girls got to get free, you know, and they deserve to be free. They deserve to be free because let's be real. Black women, Black music is international. And we hardly are the ones who benefit from them. So when I think about Big Mama Thornton and You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, that song by Elvis, and how they wanted Elvis because he looked like a white man, so he was palatable, but he sounded like a black man. And you use a black woman to come up off to become famous. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's dead. It's tired. It's played. It's played. You know what I mean? Enough. But yes. Chica says she was creating eyeballs and toes from scratch and people still complain about Rihanna. Stop it. For real. Like, fully pregnant. And y'all are demanding more? The audacity. It really speaks to how people really see black women. They don't respect black women. They don't. They see us as workers. That's it. She couldn't even be pregnant and have a lazy performance. But then also, like, whatever. I'm gonna say it. But then also, like, when has Rihanna really been, like, doing acrobatics on stage? And not saying that she has to, but she's never done that. And so for me, I'm just like, so why couldn't y'all just enjoy the free show and sit down and be quiet? It was free. It's free. Right? Like, literally, she did not get paid. She literally did not get paid. And I'm sure, like, she got money on the back end. And that's a whole other thing, right? Like, why are we doing shows for free? Anyway, but I'm sure she got paid, like, the Fenty products and all that other stuff. That's wonderful. But she did that for free. Be grateful. Because I've never been to a Rihanna concert. Never. And I was happy to. I enjoyed myself. I sang. Me and my mom were singing and dancing in the living room. It was a great time, right? We sat down and ate our food and minded our business. You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing to criticize. I had fun. She was singing all the hits. It was a great time. But yes. And the whole point, Chica, is nothing is ever enough. Nothing. So we might as well just do what we do anyway. You know what I mean? So anyway, yes, hairography. Listen, you can't talk. I be doing hair flips and everything. Journey to Kingdom Woman says, right, I agree. But if you don't agree, they want to call you a pick-me. Yeah, there's nothing pick-me about protecting girls and women from danger. That part. And that's why I don't like. We be so in the weeds about stuff and we don't be thinking critically. It's bothering me. Like, it's never just black and white. Like, yes, sex workers, yes. Like when we talk about women, it's like we play into patriarchy without even realize we're playing into it. It's bothersome because I'm like, do you hear yourself? Even this idea of like who deserves respect and who doesn't. Everybody deserves respect, period. It doesn't matter what your profession is. Everyone deserves respect. But because people don't respect women in general, we got to play the game. We got to jump through hoops. We got to do all this extra stuff just to be seen as whole human beings. Not our body parts, not our what they consider beautiful, not our beauty, none of that. Like, not our, like, a whole person, sacred, spirit, soul, and body. All of it sacred and doesn't belong to you. And men have a problem with that when you say, my body is mine. Like, when it's always also hilarious when I see y'all, we're here, but it's also hilarious when I see men talking about y'all say y'all don't want attention from men, but then y'all be dressing up all fancy and pretty. It's like, girls dress up for their friends all the time. Like, I don't know where y'all been. Girls dress up for their friends. They dress up for themselves. You've never considered that maybe women exist apart from you, that they're not your accessory, they're not your plaything, that they're not thinking about you all the time. When I tell you, I think about black women more than I think about black men. I think about women more than I think about men. I don't know. Like, and I think about myself because I'm with myself more than anybody. You know what I mean? So like to say that like the world revolves around you, man, and then to say that, oh, well, why are you dressing like that if you don't want attention? Control yourself. Why you have no self-control? That's the real issue. I have a lot of thoughts. We got to talk about that too, because there's a lot there. There's a lot there. No lie there. I've had my experiences when I was younger. One reason why I left music for a long time, but I'm back to pursue. I love that. Thank you for coming back. And I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm really sorry. You shouldn't have had to deal with that. I'm sorry. Journey to Kingdom Woman says, I love the idea of a black woman-based record label. I love your vision. Thank you. And thank you, Marissa. Yes. And thank you, Journey to Kingdom Woman. I think y'all are like, you don't need to sign. I have a whole notebook, again, full of ideas. I'm just like, well, what am I do with that? How's that gonna, let's just take the first step. I love that. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Y'all gave me the push, the inspiration, and the encouragement that I needed. So shout out to y'all. I really appreciate that. I love this idea so much. I sing and write too, but the underbelly of the industry has always been a deterrent. And I understand that. I get that. Yes, yes. I love the idea of an artist development cohort or songwriting classes. Okay, great. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. This is what I'm talking about, like pivoting and like, let's try something else. Let's do something new. Let's actually try the ideas and baby steps, right? So yes. Heck yeah, I'd be interested if you end up doing workshops. Okay, awesome. Okay. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. I'm using that term to defend pregnant women from now on. Thanks. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Hello for the people in the back. Period. Let's see. Oh, thank you. And thank you. That is the real issue, a lack of self-control. Exactly. That's all it ever was. That's all it ever is. Like, what? What were you wearing? Why does it matter? Ew. You ain't never seen no hips before? Like, it's just, the body is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's gorgeous. But I just be like, men have a lot of excuses for their lack of self-control, their lack of empathy, their lack of peace. Like, there's a lot of excuses, and it's always the woman's fault somehow. Like, oh, this, and again, this is from the beginning of time in the Bible. The first thing Adam said about whatever in the Bible, you know, when they sin, whatever, blah, 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 no matter what you believe, this is what is like written. And it's just like, this makes sense to me. Right. So when in the garden, it happened, the first thing Adam said to God is, this woman you gave me. Excuse me? Women have been the scapegoat since the beginning of time. And I'm tired because it's lazy. Like, I don't use that word often, but that is lazy. That's lazy. What you really want to say is that you were a coward. You did nothing. You had no self-control. And low-key, you wanted to eat the fruit too. So you did. And you used her as a shield. Anywho, I can get into a whole thing about that. But it's like, no, like, women are gorgeous. I see women every single day. I know how pretty they are. And I have no thoughts of harming them or taking things from them or staring at them from along. Like, they're sacred beings. Something's wrong with you. It's not women. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's always been you. That's it. That's it. Anyway, St. Cloverton James Jones, balance, regular, old kindness is not a concept for them. No, it's not. I have a lot I'm trying so hard not to stray too far from the topic, but we're already gone. But yes, like it's not. It's like, even this idea of like the girl who was harmed, whether people are like, oh, well, she lied or whatever. I don't care. Y'all all showed y'all behinds. All of y'all. Even if she did lie about being harmed, well, she didn't deserve it. I don't know her. You don't just defend random people. This is my mocking voice, by the way. What else people said? Stuff like, well, someone has to earn my protection. Ugh. You want a cookie for being nice? You want a cookie for being a good person? It's so childish. Like, it's just like you not wanting to do something, you not doing something because you don't get nothing from it. Like, and by do something, I don't mean labor, right? Like, I don't mean giving, like you, that should come natural. When I see someone being harmed in the street, there's a natural reaction I have to what is going on. Let me help this person. Like, let me call the cops. Nobody did any of that. Everybody made excuses. And the reason why they made excuses is because they're afraid of themselves. They're afraid of each other. Proving what we're saying right. Y'all say all day long, we're lying. Women be making it up. We doing too much. But y'all are afraid of each other. Because y'all didn't do nothing. You knew that your life was in danger. So we agree. Because I made a little reels or whatever on YouTube, excuse me. On YouTube. And I got a lot of comments from men talking about like, oh, well, that would be silly to defend her. You don't know what's going to happen to you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so you agree? I feel like the scene of Mean Girl. So you agree? Men are violent. You agree? We do need help. You're afraid too. You agree? Like, what are we debating here? Why are you spending so much time defending this person who harmed somebody as opposed to standing up for what is right? And if all of those men who were out there did something, that man would not have touched that woman. I'm sorry. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe that if there were 10 or however many men there, enough of them were like, yo, what are you doing? He wouldn't have done nothing. He felt empowered because he knew he wasn't going to get in trouble. We know what it is. Anywho. But yes, Adam, the first scapegoater, period. Period. Like, I can't. Anyway. Yes, I'm right. That whole concept infuriates me. Ego, LMA. Oh, has a song. Girls don't always think about boys. It touches on traditional programming and patriarchy. Exactly. Like I promise, I'm sitting up in my room not thinking about you. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking, hoping that you don't say anything to me at all. Actually, like that's to be. And I struggle with that because I'm like, am I being anti-black? I struggle with that. The fear that I feel around some men, that natural reaction that I have to like, to hold myself a little closer, to be more vigilant. And I really had to make peace with that because yes, anti-blackness exists, but also my experiences exist. And I deserve for my experiences to be honored. I have not been honored very well by black men. I have not. I have not been protected by black men. I have not been taken care of. Who I have been protected by, though, are usually black women. I feel safer around black women than I do black men. And I had to come to peace. I had to come to terms with that. Like, that is the truth. And for what it's worth, it's not that I'm just like, oh, every black man is bad. That's not what I think. I just think that, like, my experiences have shown me that I have been harmed enough times by these group of people that I just don't trust them anymore. If that makes sense. But yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Sometimes it seems like a lot of men don't even like women. They just want to own them to impress their peers. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Or to humble you in some way. Awful. Or to, what is the word? To, like, a lot of people have like this conquering spirit about them. Like, oh, I want to conquer her. Or she's a challenge, right? Like you know what I mean? Like it's a game. Like people's heart is a game to you. Their bodies is a game. Like a field to you. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. She's not an accessory. She's a sacred human being. You know what I'm saying? Uh-oh. That reminds me of the that scene from Pocahontas. These white men are dangerous. I say that all the time jokingly with my husband, but yes. I'm at least call 911 if you fear for your own. Exactly. Exactly. You can intervene that way too. That counts. Like calling the paramedics, calling 911, doing something. But you standing there, you don't get no hand clap for that's not smart. That's not brave. That's you being a coward. And again, I was tussling in the comments like I should not have been. And this guy basically was like, well, I hope that if this would happen, you would have stepped in. And yes, I would have. What? Did you think you were hurting my feelings? Was that supposed to, like, what is that supposed to mean? Yes, I would have done something. Absolutely. I wouldn't have just stood around and lit somebody, like, with a brick. Bro, there's no way. There's no way. Intersectionality is real. Our experiences are not the same. Exactly. Exactly. I am man. Yes. And but I hope you're not doing none of this. I hope you're not, because this is the thing. My best friend is a man, right? Like, my best friend is a man. And we had this conversation. What I love about him, my best friend, is that he's not with the patriarchy. Like, he still benefits and he still honors that he benefits from the patriarchy because he's a man. However, like, he pushes like patriarchal standards, if that makes sense. Like, no, he'll call a thing. He knows his own privilege. I appreciate that about him. And he's a good ally. You feel me? Like, so for me, it's not like, oh, every black man is bad. No. But yes, I do believe that every man, and honestly, probably every person, has a little bit of anti-blackness in them that they have to unlearn. Misogynoir that they have to unlearn. Like, we all have work to do. You know what I mean? Like, by default, I just assume that most black men are misogynoirists, whatever. I assume, until they show me that they're not, until they have done the work. You feel me? And it's not because like, oh, they're bad people. It's just because of privilege. You don't have to consider life as anything other than a black man. You don't. I don't have to consider life as anything other than a black woman. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but yes. Cleon Divine says, I can relate to that. I love a lot of black men from afar. Majority of times, black women have protected, respected, and shown me love. Exactly. Like there's, I wrote something, I'll share it later, but I wrote something about that. Like how black women, I heal in the arms of black women. Like I come undone in the most beautiful way. Like for the most part, like, yes, I have been harmed by black women, but usually it's because of like patriarchy. And isn't that interesting? The black women I've been harmed by is usually because of some patriarchal concept or some idea. I had a falling out with a group of friends because I was harmed by a man and they defended him. They came up with every excuse in the book. You know what I mean? And I realize even now, like, I still have grace for them because it's patriarchy, right? Like, it's patriarchy. It's thinking like that. And they probably believe that about themselves. You know what I mean? It's hard, but yes, yes. Marissa says exactly. I don't owe anyone a response ever. Period. You don't. You don't. No. I said what I said. I said what I said. But yes. So yeah, that was a talk today. Thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. Again, if you would like to join the garden, please do so here. We start next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's $25 a month, so feel free to join if you can. Yeah. And that concludes, this feels kind of anticlimactic, doesn't it? Like, this concludes Black Girl Creative Retreat Week, though. But I'm happy that I got to spend some time with you guys. I'm happy, or you all. I'm happy that, and I say you all because I know some people are offended by saying you guys. I don't mean it like you guys, but like you people. You all. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for spending time with me. I appreciate that. Oh, you just joined. Thank you. Thank you, Mara. I'm excited. I hope that you're going to enjoy it. So yes, I'm excited. I'm going to sleep this weekend. I am going to rest. I'm going to create. I'm going to stay outside. It's supposed to rain, so we're going to see how much outside I get. But I'm going to be reading Marissa's book this weekend, finishing that, and probably rereading it again. So let me actually pull that up. Marissa has a new book called Cocoon. And let's see. Yes, Affirmations for Transformation. I'm going to share that with you all. Copy. Let it be your weekend read, y'all. Seriously, let it be your weekend read. It feels so good. It feels so good. I don't even have words, but yes. Honestly speaking, Alicia, this is how our biology was designed by the living God. However, some people have gone beyond the boundaries that God set for both parties. I hear you, Albert. I don't think patriarchy was designed, the way that we're seeing it here was not designed by God. That's man. That's man. That's evil. That's harm. That's patriarchy. That's conquering. That's white supremacy. It's a lot of things, but it's not God. You know what I mean? But I hear you. And I don't want to go in that conversation, but I don't want to go in that direction. But yes, but I hear you, but I push back a little bit because I don't necessarily agree with all of it. Much love to you, Albert, but I don't agree with all of it. That's all. But yay. This was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi, Conquer the Change. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Alicia. Looking forward to the Garden Season 2 next week. Me too. I'm excited. Sade May. I just got here. What does the garden consist of? Okay, so the garden is a community of Black women creatives. We come together just about every week, every Tuesday. Unless we change the day, which is also flexible. But we come together. We do workshops together on creative things. What have we talked about? Starting a creative business. We've talked about working through creative blocks or ideas. We've talked about a lot of stuff in between. Adding joy to our lives, resting, being grateful for what we have, just like life things. Even though creativity is the center, there are 5 pillars to Black Girl Creative. So creativity, storytelling, well-being, generosity and abundance, and community. And community is like the main focus. So even though we talk about creativity, we also talk about a lot of other things. We also have co-creation sessions. Co-creation stations. I actually like that name. But anyway, we have co-creation sessions where we come together and we work through things. You can take a nap if you want to. You can clean up. We've had people like declutter, just doing things in community. What else? We're also doing show and tells where people can share their things and get support that they need. People have collaborated outside of the garden, which has been beautiful. Marissa Price and Marissa T and Lavendula had an event that was beautiful where it was art and affirmations. That was gorgeous. Yes, it's just a community of Black women coming together and sharing. You know what I mean? Sharing life, sharing love, sharing creativity experiences. Yes. So I don't know if that was a good pitch, but that's what we do there. And of course, like if you are questioning, you can always cancel, you can always leave. There's no super duper heavy requirement. Yeah, you can always leave if you don't like it. And the replays will be available if you can't show up, if you're not there that day. People just show up at their own pace and their own capacity. So yeah. I'm sorry you experienced that. Not an easy thing to go through, especially with skin folk. Yeah, it's not. You feel gaslit because you feel crazy. You feel like, did I imagine that? Was that not as serious as it was? And it was. Yeah, none of it. When I look around, none of this is God. I don't see. Nah. You're welcome. I need to add the books from the ladies of the garden, yes, to my Amazon cart. Yes, please. So I will, hold on one second. I just shared Marissa's. Let me share the other book by Lavendula, which is called The Box. Oops. If I could spell The Box. Mm-hmm. And also, the garden is actually like co-created with each other. So I have ideas for what we want to talk about, what we should talk about, but like it's open for whatever we need to talk about, if that makes sense. So if we, sorry, can't do two things at once. So that's Lavendula's book that I just put in the chat. But if we come together and we want to talk about something else and the conversation goes a completely different way, I'm open to that, right? Because this is a space co-created with each other. Even though I am facilitating, I am not like the head of this. We're in this together. We're shoulder to shoulder. You know what I mean? So yes. Yay. Yay. Much love to you. Thank you. Thank you all. Much love. Well said. I appreciate that. Yay. Enough by MNT says, the garden for me is a safe space where I commune with like-minded Black women. I love that. And it's that simple, because yes, creativity is the thing, but you don't have to be an artist to join. You don't. We're talking about life, like creative living, like holistic creative living. And that's the point, you know? So yeah. Oh, what time? Sorry. So this Tuesday we're meeting at 7 p.m. But if enough people don't like that date and time, we can change it. I'm flexible. So yeah. So this Tuesday at 7 p.m. is the first session. But after that, I will be asking, like, does this time work? You know, the length, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, to be able to, you know, serve people, because we got people on the West Coast and the East Coast. So trying to find a time where people are available, you know, that can be tricky sometimes. So yeah, I'm open. Yay. Okay. Child of 83. None at all. Yeah, exactly. Black Girl Creative is also an amazing book. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to share that as well. I wrote a book called Black Girl Creative, which is a love letter to Black women, makers, dreamers, and doers. Creative. Yay. Oh, thank you all for the 5 stars. I appreciate that. There are 8 people who have reviewed my book. I appreciate that. That's actually really helpful. So thank you. Yes, thank you. And that's my book, Black Girl Creative, if you want to get it. Yay. Hi, Greta. I'm glad you're back. Yes, we're about to wrap up. I'm so sorry, but I'm happy that you came back, and the replay will be available. So yes, you all, thank you so much for, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. Thank you for spending your week with me. For everybody that signed up for my email, let me actually put that in here too. Just in case, let's see, where is it? Yes. Just in case you want to watch the replays, I'll be emailing you the links to all the replays, the conversation that we had on Wednesday, which was beautiful with other Black Girl Creatives. The invitation to join the garden will be there. What else? Copy. Here we go. Here's a link. So yes, all the things. So thank you. Thank you for spending the week with me. Again, like I said, I'm going to be resting this weekend. I hope that you are too. I hope that you were able to get something from this week. Let's review real quick. We talked about resting, how resting is the foundation for creativity. So implement more rest, whatever that looks like for you. We're also going to be talking about what we talked about here in more depth in the garden, where we can actually converse and share ideas and support each other, set goals, do that kind of thing. And we talked about playing, having more fun, right? Play as a means to creating. We talked about the stories that we tell each other, the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we believe from other people. We've talked about being our own permission slip. We also had a conversation with other Black women creatives. Let's see. And today, we're talking about stealing like an artist and showing gratitude. So yes. So we had a wonderful week. I had a great time. It's always awkward to say goodbye, so I won't say that. I'm going to say see you all later. And before we leave, I'm going to share this link because I still think it's beautiful. I'm going to go through this and like try to chop it up because these women had so many gems to share. So many. I can't tell it all. So yes, I hope that you have a wonderful day, you all. Much love to you. Keep creating, keep making. Even if you don't join the garden, thank you so much for spending time. I hope that you got what you needed to just go, to create, to do, because we're cheering for you. All right. So much love, much joy. Keep creating because what you create, it matters. Oh, Mara, later to you as well. All right. Bye, everybody. Yay. Happy week. Oh, sorry. Real quick. Thank you. Thank you to Optimistic Girl. Thank you to Poppy Cumo. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Now for realsies. All right. See y'all later. Bye.